How's it, everybody? This is going to be one of the visitors I had. Um, and I know it's been a couple of weeks. Um, this happened several days in a row, probably close to maybe 10 days. And it actually happened last night too. So um, it hasn't gone away, but what happened was I started smelling alcohol in the house, but not booze, rubbing alcohol, and it it first started where it was just I smelled it. It wasn't real strong, but you could smell it. And then later on that day, when it first started, it came back, and same thing. It didn't last real long. Wasn't real strong, but it was there. And with each day, I'm still getting over being sick, so hopefully not going to start coughing. Anyway, with each day, the smell came back stronger, more frequently, and it lasted longer and longer, up until where it was here like all day long. I just smelled it all day long. It was super strong. And so the very first day, because it was alcohol, the only person I came to mind right away was my mother. My mother was diabetic, and so we always had alcohol in the house, and because she had to give herself injections of insulin every day. So that was a fairly common smell in our house when I was growing up. But I didn't get the feel of my mother, and so but because it happened over and over every day, I thought, okay, who is this tied to? I didn't get any sense of anybody specific, and really of all the people that I know that have passed away. There's only a couple of them that had nothing to do with a doctor or a hospital, or hospice, anything like that, where alcohol would have been used. Everybody else, they were either, like I said, either in a hospital or hospice or under the care of a doctor. So alcohol would have been something that you would have smelled. But because it was so strong and it lasted so long, I just really had no sense of who it was. And also, too, our refrigerator had broken. And that was another reason why I didn't do these videos. And so we had several days of stuff in coolers with ice and all that. And then, so I thought, well, did it maybe come from the refrigerator because it was getting ready to break? I don't know. And so I started looking around for anything that could have made that smell. Is something rotting? Is it turning? Is something expired? And so I went through all the cabinets and everything, looked at everything. I couldn't find anything. But that smell was just persistent. So then, while that was going on, one night I was watching TV, and excuse me. I think I had COVID. Anyway, while that was going on, one night when I was watching TV, it wasn't real late, but Kevin had gone to sleep, and I had the TV down really low, and I started hearing something out by the ocean. Actually, it wasn't even close to us. It was out far. It was almost like a rumbling sound. And enough to where I muted the TV because I could hear it out there. And so I got up because as I was listening, it sounded like it was getting closer. And a lot of times, because we're only a block from the ocean and we face exactly east side, uh, a lot of times you can hear a storm come, and you can hear it come across the ocean as it's traveling in, as it's blowing in. But that's not what it sounded like. It had a low, like a rumble. So when I went outside on the porch, you could hear it. You could hear it. It was far off, but you could hear it getting closer. And it was kind of it was a disturbing sound. It sounded almost like a tornado was coming. And so I didn't know what it was, so I went back in the house and I was watching TV, but you could hear it. You could hear it. And it was getting louder as it was getting closer. And it sounded like a really low, like a groan almost, just like a low groan. And then the wind blew in real hard. I mean really hard. It blew my hair forward. It slammed, we have plantation shutters in the house. It slammed the shutters closed. It blew all these papers and stuff off of the tables. And so, this just came in, and it came from behind me. And it was uncomfortable. Just like, oh God, I don't like this. I don't like this. And that was my first reaction. I don't like the way this feels. It didn't feel good at all. And I got up because the wind was just nuts. It was just coming through the house, just nuts. And so I got up and I closed the sliding glass doors. I only left them open about that much. And I sat there and I could hear the groan that had come in. So I muted the TV. And as soon as I muted the TV, I was sitting there and it felt, it was like uncomfortable all around me, just uncomfortable, really uneasy feeling. And then I started hearing snapping, like twigs snapping. And it was here, and then it was there, and then it was there, and then it was over here, and it was just snap, snap. The sound of like snapping, like dried twigs, or think of walking outside and you're stepping, with each step, you're stepping on something dry, and you hear it snap. And I kept hearing this all around me. And the more that it was like, oh, there. So it was happening throughout the whole area. So the living room, the dining room, the kitchen area, it was happening all around me. And it was just this horrible, chaotic feeling. And it was so unnerving. And I didn't know what I was picking up because the energy was just, it felt like this all around me. And so I tried to I always do this, protection, put protection around you, put yourself in a bubble, in a light, however it is that you do it. And I do it a lot too. But I wasn't able to do it. I wasn't able to do it because it was going on so much around me that I couldn't get it into that place to be able to do that. So that really scared me, actually, because I've never had I've never not been able to protect myself from that kind of stuff. but I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't get to there. And so I started praying. I started saying, I started praying. And then I, just sort of sat, and then it stopped. It just sort of went out. And I don't know. Well, a few days later, Roe was overturned. And that stuff that happened here pretty much represented the energy of what happened and what has now happened since that decision. And so how I have put it together, and you don't have to agree with me, it's just how I'm interpreting it based on what happened and how I felt. So alcohol, medical care, doctors, breaking of twigs, stepping on things and breaking them, chaos, something blowing in hard, groaning, not being able to get myself protected. I guess it was I've always gotten premonitions, but I don't know that this was so much a premonition. I think it was just picking up the energy of what was coming and what is still to come because of this decision. So whether you agree with me or not, it's cool. You don't have to. But yeah, I think that's what it is, what it was. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it, you guys. Aloha.